And we are live. Welcome to the Nuclear Golf Podcast. My name is Hutch. I'm an ambassador here at Nuclear Golf. I'm obviously not John. The backup host is here again. So that means we're probably going to get off the rails because John usually keeps us on track. With me tonight, we got Joey from Scheffler Fans over there. And then Tim, another ambassador, co-ambassador. It's nice to see your face, Tim. I know I missed last week when you filled in. How's everybody doing?
Doing solid, Tim. Appreciate you chipping in last week. That was clutch. Yeah, when John's not on, shit can get off the rails real quick.
Dude,
so.
It's
Which is fine. It's waste management week, or it was. It fits hand in hand with just things going awry, and that's just how it is. It's what we're gonna do. And welcome.
John really doesn't get enough credit for. Not only is he the godfather of tracking as we know it, but doing this is a lot harder than it looks. Like it's just I hate doing it just because I'm not good at it. John's got it under control. He's kind of mastered it. Anyway, we're going to do our best. There's quite a few things to get into. It probably will be a lighter episode this week. It is, but there's a good bit to get into. We're going to touch on the waste management. Obviously, we'll get to Pebble. Some live news happened. Patrick Reed continued his heater. He has been unstoppable the last few weeks. Some interesting comments from Brandel Chambly. Shocking. Surprisingly, this week, no Rory McIlroy live quotes, which has been kind of different from what we've been having for the last month or so, or 6 months or year or whatever it is. Jack Doherty, who I'm told is a popular streamer, kind of got in some hot water at the waste management. We'll get into all that, and then we'll touch on Pebble at the very end. So first, let's get into the waste management. Chris Gotterup, guys, number 5 in the world now. He's kind of on a heater, one in a playoff. Tell me what Tim looks like. He's got some thoughts here about it. Tim, tell me about it.
No, he's playing good. I mean, not nothing bad, nothing crazy. Just he's playing really good. I think Hideki, made a couple an error or so down the stretch to let him back in. Thor Bjornsson also was leading late, made a couple errors to let him back in, and he's just steady Eddie in the playoff. I mean, he's playing really good, coming up into his own, and happy for him. Number 5 in the world.
It's kind of insane to hear. I mean, I know he birdied 5 of his last 6 holes. Hideki kind of got in some hot water. He had some trouble with some fans yelling. I understand it's the party tournament, but that should never, ever, ever happen. Joey, what did you think about it? Tell me what you thought about it first, and then kind of get into Scotty's week, recap it for us, because I know he started off a little shaky, but then, as Scotty does, was right in the thick of it down the stretch.
Dude, it's fire because if Scotty doesn't win, his twin, his lookalike, just wins. So we're like technically, racking up some good wins. We're pretty much 3 for 3 this season, within like a 95 percentile of looking like Scotty Scheffler. So no, but Gotterup's he's just fun to watch. I mean, he's been playing insanely consistent golf. He rips the ball. So it's fun to watch. Of course, like that one, him being able to the playoff, like obviously Hideki's shot wasn't going to be a factor anyway. But when I saw his tee shot on 18 in the playoff, I was like, yeah. Because he obviously, the first one that was right, I think he learned that he wasn't going to let that happen again. And he let that thing fly. I don't know what the ball speed was on that one, but Gotterup's just looking really consistent. I'm happy for him, obviously. One of the younger, newer guys on tour that's playing really well. Scotty did end up one back. He just finished one back of the playoff. Right?
Yep.
Which for his first day, which was 2 over, I'm pretty sure. Just Tim was talking about it before the show. Scotty's kind of getting to that point where, again, I know we throw his name around with Tiger all the time, and everyone's tired of it. But I mean, realistically, there's not a lot of guys on tour that go and do that the first round, and you don't feel any different about how his chances are, for the weekend. Even going in round 2, I know he picked up steam and stuff, but like first couple holes in round 2, the way he was swinging and still kind of looked visibly frustrated, I was like, all right, we're going to be testing Scotty's patience here. I mean, people, is he going to make the cut? Like all this. So, I mean, for him to end up realistically, like, not far at all from that playoff. Like a couple things could have gone differently there on the last stretch of maybe 5 or 6 holes, and we're talking about Scotty's ridiculous comeback win, but can't win them all. Still a top 3, and I don't know what stat that is nowadays, but he's just an absurd number because I think they said 46% of his last however many finishes have been top 3s. Just a stupid stat at this point for enough. So
and he started with a 2 over, and the winning score was 16 under. The dude's just ridiculous. Like it's insane.
On 17 strokes in 3 rounds of golf is.
And Tim was alive for like prime Tiger. So is this kind of like what people felt like back then? Like, I mean, it's ridiculous that he's still able to contend with. It seems like every week. And two, like your top 3 stat there, Joey. Like at this point for Scotty, it's either won or didn't win, right? Like there's no, he's going to be there either way. So it's either won or didn't win. Tim, kind of compare and contrast if you can.
The thing for me that makes it so comparable is, for example, on Sunday, Scotty makes a 72-footer to keep the momentum going, to keep drawing another shot closer. And that kind of effect reverberates throughout the field. And, Tiger used to do that too. He would be, he would start off with a couple over par and people would be like, oh, Tiger, could he struggle this week? And then he's going to shoot 65, 65, 65 or something like that. But he always had a shot on Sunday where it was a shot that not many of the other guys on tour make. Like guys just don't make 70-footers. And I'm not saying Scotty goes around every Sunday and makes one, but there's certain times in tournaments where he's able to just, as Jack Nicklaus used to say, will the ball into the hole. And that kind of just, it gets guys thinking. That's the effect Tiger used to have. And, he ended up 1 shot back. So he's at that point where he's either winning or he's scaring the bejesus out of guys.
Hideki, I mean, he had a great week, right? Like he was consistent. He looked like at one point on Sunday, come down the stretch, that he was going to win pretty easily. It looked like to me. And then unfortunately, we kind of got into some trouble on 18, ended up making a bogey to get into the playoff. And that's kind of where we ran into some real issues with, I felt bad for him because he had to back off the putt on 18. And then we get into the playoff and he has to back off the tee ball because of the second one wasn't somebody yelling. It looks like now we found out it was somebody dropping a chair, but the first one was somebody yelling. I understand that that's part of golf, I guess, but it felt a little unfair to it happen to the same guy back to back like that. And I don't want to say that it cost him the tournament because he was able to lock back in, but he did immediately pump the ball into the water right after backing off that tee shot.
Well, I mean, first off, whoever dropped the chair, we got to be better because I'm pretty sure it was like a
staff.
Yeah, it was like a volunteer or something like that. So I mean,
yeah,
you got all week to drop a chair. 18 in a playoff, probably not the time to do it. I mean, like if you're ever gripping your personal belongings as tight as possible, it's when the 2 guys that are teeing off for a playoff, on Sunday. It's probably when you should do it. But yeah, I felt bad. I mean, it's one of those things that you're sitting there. I mean, I know the shadow came through on the putt. Was he going to make the putt on 18? Probably not.
It's a long putt.
And again, I mean, regardless, it sucks that he had to back off, but it could have gone the other way. What if he makes it and then everyone's like, oh, imagine if he never backed off that ball, would he have made it? So it is the waste management. Like it's one of those things you have to chalk up. Yeah, the douchebag that was chirping too early. I mean, again, I'm surprised that didn't happen more really in serious moments down the last stretch. Just because I think Thursday and Friday you assume it's going to happen. Saturday it happens all the time. Just maybe not. I mean, it's moving day, so there's not all the attention on the 18th tee box or something. But it's unfortunate. But I mean, Hideki's been. I don't have his stats from this year up in front of me, but I know he's sticking around.
I think that's kind of there's some give and take a little bit with the PGA Tour making some of these events like mainstream events, like not as much about the golf tournament, but more of like, hey, this is tourism. We're bringing all these people in for this week-long party, basically, is you get a bunch of non-golf crowd showing up, especially waste management. I can't tell you how many people on Facebook that I am friends with that I saw were there. And I'm like, y'all don't, even like golf. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? So I think there's some give and take. The people that don't understand the etiquette of golf. I've got Hideki's results here. He's on the season. He's played 3 events: Sony, T13, Farmers Insurance, T11, and then last week. So he's come out hot to start the year off. We did get into the playoff there, and Ryan, and I'm sure Ryan's far from the only person. Ryan's not here tonight, but he did bring up a good point to us. Why are they not just doing the playoff hole on 16? Like, that feels like the most obvious answer of all time.
I know logistically, like all the reasoning, but I mean, honestly, this course, it's not like it's far. There's a lot of courses where it doesn't make sense to go all the way back to 16, obviously. But I mean, that excuse isn't really here on this one. I do get when the last group comes through 16, like it's probably a nightmare clearing out the 20,000 people in there, all funneling out because they're trying to get towards 18 to see, you know, a finish or something like that. But if people know in advance that playoffs are likely to, you know, be in 16 and the leaderboard's usually pretty tight. I mean, if that's the case, people are going to start sticking around. I mean, there's no shortage of drinks up there. I don't think people are itching to get to 18. I'm sure it's a flood anyway. It's probably already full by the time you can even get anywhere around. I mean, it's all stands anyway. So that'd be electric though. Can you imagine? Just
it'd be insane.
Like I know it's supposed to be like a playoff, so everything gets more serious, but you almost want it to be just as wild as like a Saturday, because imagine like the winning. I mean, someone throws a dart to 3 feet and someone else has like a 15-foot putt. And I mean, it would be quicker, it'd be more efficient, and it would be absolutely electric. I'm just trying to picture like Goddard throwing an absolute dart in there to like, you know, 3 or 4 feet or something like that, and the place would just go nuts.
It just feels like this is one of those situations where like the most obvious answer is the correct answer, right? Like, we don't need to overthink it. It's built for that. That's literally what it's you build the whole week around that one hole, and then you go to a playoff and it's not that hole. What are we doing?
Or make it 17, like make somebody have to try to drive the green or get really aggressive,
green.
like get as close. I mean, that 17 pin on Sunday is crazy. I mean, make people get aggressive and throw a dart in there if they're going to lay up without driver.
Yeah, 16. It's a stadium hole for a reason. I mean, it's built for a playoff. I mean, you don't want 25,000 drunks stumbling trying to get over to 18 and 17. And, I mean, just let them stay there and say this is where the playoff's going to be, and it's built-in theater. You don't even have to manufacture it. You don't have to do anything.
That's my biggest thing is the infrastructure. Like it's not easier or it's not any harder than it already is. I mean, it basically everything's provided for you. I don't know what kind of reasoning. I mean, again, it's probably a formality thing, but mess around with it one year. I don't know. I mean, they were saying on the broadcast that it was something like 15 of the last 21 or something like that. I mean, a lot of the finishes have been playoffs, you know, in the last 20 years there. So if it happens a lot, you get the people riled up more for like the 16th after 16 when the last groups come through. Everyone's like watching the leaderboard, like, oh my God, are they going to tie on 18? Like, are they coming back here? I mean, milk an extra couple 100,000 out of drink sales in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you've already got people showing their asses anyway out there. Like, what's the worst that could happen? It happened on 18s. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, to that point, I did skip over Jack Doherty. I know I promised it at the top of the show, but I'm sure you guys saw the stream. Tim, did you see it where he paid some guy to scream jackass?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it, and it's just unnecessary. I mean, there's just no reason for it in the middle of a golf tournament. And it doesn't really matter if, to me, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if he actually did it or he paid someone to do it. But if you watch the video, he paid someone to do it. The guy did it right in the middle of his backswing. He's there laughing and joking. And then when the cops and the tour officials come up to approach him, he plays the innocent card like he didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't say it. I didn't. Well, yeah, we understand you didn't say it, but your intent was to get somebody else in trouble for your benefit and to do it live during a swing. I just think that's bogus. It's not my. I just think it's lame. I'm glad he got banned.
I had to consult some younger folks about this guy because I don't know who he is prior to this, but from my understanding is he kind of does this thing. This is kind of his shtick, right? Like he goes around just riling people up and then hides behind a bodyguard. Am I understanding that right?
Correct.
Dude, he's like I mean, yeah, his whole point's just be an asshole. I mean, like he's obvious, and it's working clearly because he's rage baiting and getting plenty of views on stream. I see his clips all the time. Somehow it's like the not even top 10 douchiest things he's done. I mean, I've seen videos of him just do like, I mean, yeah, it's his goal is he goes and rage baits people and then hides behind security. And there's a video somewhere of I don't remember if it's him. I think his security guard like knocks a dude out just for even like talking about him or something like that. Or it's just crazy stuff. I mean, streaming is getting out of control in a sense of people just basically getting paid millions of dollars to just go basically rage bait people, like going streaking, going, jumping on some sort of jumbotron, doing something crazy. Like, and again, I get it. Like, I'll shut up because he's making a buttload more than I am, and he's a lot more famous. So, look, it's working. He's fine. I know he's kicked out of like as many venues as you can possibly think of in terms of sporting events, which I don't think you plan on coming back to waste management anyway. So
he's kind of got himself, and I saw he's got a indefinite ban from all PGA Tour events going forward. So I don't know that he cares, but I did see that. It was in the video. Like the security guy was like, "You're banned. You're going to be trespassed from any PGA Tour events going forward for the foreseeable future," is what they said. So I don't know what that looks like. Again, I think that's kind of a product of the PGA Tour making this into more of a social event than a golf tournament. Kind of the downside comes with it. There's good in the fact that, I mean, I just looked it up. He's got 15 million subscribers on YouTube. So a lot of people are going to see that he was at the golf tournament, and we'll see what happens with it. But I don't know. It to me, God, you just can't do that. Like there's just sacred things. Like you just can't do that. That's just, he just saw the Happy Gilmore and thought he could have a moment. And
I also
but
love
it's a shtick. I want to say it backfired, but that's a shtick. So I guess it didn't. I don't know.
We're a golf podcast talking about Jack Doherty. Like it worked clearly. I'm sure all of it's planned out. Like he knows exactly what's going to happen. He knew he'd get kicked out probably. I do love that in the video. Like it's pretty evident who says it, and then still everybody around just rats Jack out. They're like, "No, it was that dude." Like I don't even know if the other guy got kicked out, but they were all blaming it. I guess it looks like on Jack. So.
Well, they pointed him out pretty quickly because there wasn't even an old dude that came up and was like, "I know him. I know what he does. This is him. He did this, blah, blah, blah." So
it's hard to hide with a giant camera following you around. I'm pretty sure that was probably a pretty obvious, easy find.
Yeah. I just think like if he's sober too, like this tournament is full of drunks, and you're gonna get people that say random stuff at inappropriate times because they're drunk, and that's part of the stick. But I don't think it's cool that he's instigating it even further to a different level, and telling guys when to actually do it. Whereas if you're naturally drunk and you're just like, and then like you do it in someone's backswing, that's different. Like I'll be like, "Oh man, that's just bad timing." But when you're going up to a guy and you're offering them money and they're completely wasted already, that's where I think the line for me is drawn a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking, so he's kind of a shit disturber, is what I would say, in a dramatic kind of way. There's a guy that's kind of a shit disturber in the golf kind of way. He was back in the day, Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka's kind of been off to a rough start since he came back to the PGA Tour. We thought maybe he was going to have a good result at Torrey Pines. I know I was on record saying he was going to have a good result. I wasn't here last week to talk about it. He did not. He finished T56. And then this week, he missed the cut. Tim, I understand he's having some putting difficulties. I saw he switched putters. He's off the blade now and onto the TaylorMade Spider.
I mean, you're predicting a good result was a good. I mean, he's hitting the ball really well. His ball striking is really well. In fact, he was like, I believe last week he was top 10 in ball striking, but his putting is awful. And it could just be, practice. It could, and putting is so technical, and it's literally a game of inches when it comes to putting, and it's usually in between the ears. I don't think he's really that far off. I know he changed putters and he was He was 3.63 worse strokes gained on Thursday. He improved it one on Friday, and he shot 69. He's gonna start putting good again. I just think it's a matter of time. He's striking the ball amazing. So if he can keep striking the ball amazingly and tune up his putter, I think he'll start playing really good again, because it's not both things bad. It's just the putter.
I guess all those live greens were just shit, so he's been struggling to try to get back to the PGA level. How about you, now?
I'm a big live guy, but I'm looking at it right here, Tim. Like his putting average, his putts per round, he's near the bottom of the PGA Tour and all those stats. Like he's just kind of been off to a very, very poor start. He's losing over 2 strokes to the field in putting, 180th on tour this year. So it's just kind of one of those things. Maybe he'll just play with it and figure out what kind of putter he needs to use, get back on track. Although I did see somebody pointed out on Twitter that there's not many people that are still using blade putters. Everybody's moving to the mallet, and he was one of the holdouts, and now he's gone over to the dark side, as they say. Anything else on Brooks or Waste Management before we get into something crazy that Brandel Chambly said while on the set of Live From?
I don't think so.
Okay, so here we go. Brandel Chambly, ladies and gentlemen. Brandel Chambly, ever so controversial. He did have a quote. He had an argument that the Players' Championship is not only the 5th major, but basically the hardest and the best major championship to win. So here's the exact quote. So in every single way that a metric could be used to measure whether something is a major, the Players, to me, stands alone and above the other 4 major championships as not just a major. It is, in my estimation, the best major. When you look at the Players' Championship, with all due respect to the other 4 major golf championships, it is the best field in golf. It is the deepest field in golf. And by virtue of the fact that only one person in its 50-year history has managed to successfully defend it, I would argue that it is the hardest major championship to win, especially since it moved to TPC Sawgrass, which, in my estimation, save one hole, is perhaps arguably the best golf course that they play a major championship on from a shot value perspective. Thoughts, boys, to that word salad.
I only have one thing to say, and it's a quote. I've won it before, and it's not.
That sounds like a Phil Mickelson quote.
Could be.
Well, Phil Mickelson had a quote about it, didn't he, Hutch?
Yeah, he essentially said that, and it actually was a tweet. I'll pull up the tweet right now.
The tweet. Yeah, I've won it, and it's not, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up right now. What did you think of Brandel's comments, Joey, while I'm pulling that up?
I mean, look, we're talking about a guy that gets paid a fair amount to have an opinion on things. It's the Stephen A's of the world, right? I mean, like, if he only had opinions that people agreed with, probably wouldn't be sitting on the desk for Live From Waste Management, and probably wouldn't be making a lot of money doing so. So, in fairness, we are talking about it, and I get what he's getting at, but it's such a like that conversation just has so many levels to it. It's you can't face value say, it's the hardest or best major, whatever angle you want to take at. Well, best tournament, even more than the majors, which is crazy just because, again, you can talk about Sawgrass all day and you can talk about how hard it is to defend it. But I mean, comparing it to the majors are just a whole different thing. I mean, a whole different beast in terms of different venues. I mean, even just having it at different venues and comparing it to somewhere that's played the same every single year, that's not Augusta, is just not really comparable to in the same, because they're not. I mean, the U.S. Open some years are certainly better or worse than the Players, but consistently year after year, I think it's kind of outlandish to assume that it's the hardest and best tournament. And again, people that have played it are literally out there saying that. Trust me, it's not. They've played a lot harder. Maybe.
Phil's exact tweet was, "I have won it. It's not," in reference to it being a major. So yeah, I mean, again, like everybody knows how I feel about Brandel. I think he's just very much a look at me kind of guy. Gotcha, Stephen A. of the world, of the golf world, as you say, Joey. This just felt like something hot, a hot take that he could give, and I couldn't disagree with it more. I don't know how could you even go against the players who actually play in the majors and the players and are saying no? Like that's where it stops and ends to me. I don't even think it's a discussion.
I mean, it's also his opinion, so I'm gonna give him that part of it, and I'm gonna assume that's his opinion. He could be just doing it like you guys said because he wants to stir the pot or whatever. But
Yeah.
if it's his opinion, I mean that's cool because everybody has a different opinion of what's the best. I wouldn't agree with it. I don't think the Players is a fifth major. That's not what I think. So I think the four majors are just as equally good fields and are much tougher of a test on a consistent basis. Yes, like you guys said, sometimes the US Open's easier, not as tough, or the British Open or stuff like that. But I think when you're playing, I just think the majors, the four of them, are a tougher test than the Players. But if that's his opinion, then I mean,
He did. I mean, he qualified it several times, saying that either in his opinion or in his estimation or whatever he said, like he did qualify it saying that's his opinion. But again, like I just kind of default back to players who actually play in the majors and players saying it's not the same thing. And you think what you want of Phil. Phil is one of the most successful golfers of all time. So you can think what you want of his decision to go to live. You can think of how off the course stuff with him, whatever you want to do. His opinion carries some weight, and he's got stuff to back it up. All right, guys, let's pivot over to another winner, a guy who may be right alongside Chris Gotterup, the hottest player in the world, Captain America, former live golfer, Patrick Reed. He won again on the DP World Tour. That's two of his last three events that he's won. He won the Hero Dubai Desert Classic. He won the Qatar Masters. He lost in a playoff in Bahrain. So with this win, he's essentially locked up his membership for the PGA Tour this coming fall. He's essentially locked it back up through the DP World Tour top 10 rankings. He's essentially coming back for sure. So thoughts on Patrick Reed leaving live and all of a sudden becoming one of the best ever? It feels like an exaggeration, but he's on the
Well, I mean, obviously any live hater would be able to run with that for days or be able to make whatever story they want out of it. But I mean, he's playing hot right now, whether that's motivation from everything kind of going down the last couple of weeks. Like we mentioned, I know we kind of made predictions on 2 episodes ago before all this news broke, and kind of predicted what he would need to do. And if he's really about it, like Brooks kind of has that notion where he genuinely just wants to be back on the tour. We said the steps he needs to do, and he's literally following those to a T. I mean, he's going out there and destroying it on the world tour and doing the things that he needs to solidify himself. Obviously, we already saw the statement from the PGA and, the kind of criteria that would have to be met and what he's going to have to adhere to. So look, if Patrick Reed wants to play on the PGA Tour and wants to be back to competitive golf, at least, on the PGA side, he's taking advantage of it while it's hot. I mean, that's what he has to do. If he's playing this good of golf, he needs to go and secure those wins. That way, like you said, he's basically locked up that top 10 to help him boost that PGA status for the fall.
Which is crazy to say after 3 events.
Yeah, I know.
Essentially locked it up already.
Flipped into, well, I mean, just going and getting 2 wins, especially early. I mean, all it takes is some not disastrous finishes and some playing of events to kind of maintain at least that top 10 realm. Some people would, I don't really know how he'd get pushed out unless he just blows up, every tournament he plays here on out. But I mean, like I said, we spoke about it. I mean, the PGA Tour makes every bit of sense for them to want him back on the tour. I know we said, Tiger and Rory probably aren't the biggest fans of that, but when you look at the PGA Tour, a company that at the end of the day is focused on being a company and attracting views and money. So, and that's what Patrick Reed does. And without playing good golf, he already brings a lot of attention to his name based on what he does and what he says and his history and all that stuff. So, I mean, if you can actually have him go play and earn his spot, how the PGA's kind of teed it up, I mean, it's a win-win for them.
And he is going to, obviously he's exempt to to the Masters. He is going to get to play a PGA Tour event, a PGA Tour co-sanctioned event later this summer. He's eligible to play in the Genesis Scottish Open right before the Open Championship. I don't want anybody to come for us. I almost said the British. I didn't want anybody to come for us. But he is eligible to play in that event somehow. So it's a co-sanctioned event between the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour. I guess he's going as a DP World Tour member. We'll see how he performs there, but it's certainly good for him. I mean, he's, as Joey said, we kind of outlined what he had to do to get back, and he's taken the bull by the horns and just kind of gone and done it. I mean, he's put in the work and he's getting the results. So we'll see kind of where it takes him, but he's going to be back, and like him or hate him, we've said it several times before on here before, he does bring something to the tour, as you said, Joey, but he also, the Ryder Cup in particular, he's just kind of built for that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to piggyback on. We briefed on it last week a little bit, but he improved his world ranking from 39 to 29 when he was on Live. So he was killing it on Live. He was playing in a lot of DP Tour events and Asian Tour events back then. He's been playing really well for a while now to improve his ranking that much. Even playing on the Live Tour. So he wants the Ryder Cup more than anything. He wants to play in 2027 so bad. So he's doing exactly what you guys are saying. Anything it takes to get there, it's what he wants. Like, he's made that clear, and that's his goal. He wants to play. He wants to be that count. He wants to play. He's already made comments about going to Ireland and how it's going to be so different and things. So kudos to him if he can keep playing well.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a big game for the PGA Tour right now. It's a big game for the DP World Tour. His former tour, Live, they played in Riyadh this past week under the lights, which I love, by the way. I think that's exciting and awesome, and I wish the PGA Tour would do something like that too, because that's super cool that they played under the lights out in Riyadh. Elvis Smiley made his debut for Ripper GC and won the event, beat John Rahm by one shot. He shot 24 under, John Rahm 23 under. Some other notables, I mean, the one that I'm going to go to is my boy AK. His highest finish on the Live Tour, he finished T22. God, I mean, it's just kind of something awesome to build on. Anthony Kim closed with a 66 on Sunday. I'm excited. I'm going to go on record right now and say that I think AK is going to win an event this year on Live. Wow. I do.
I mean, it would finish up. It put a nice little bow on his documentary season, or I guess off season / just his little micro journey within his own bigger journey that he's already kind of on. I mean, I think I don't really know anybody that wouldn't want to see that.
I think it's going to be great,
unless you're just a sheer hater. But yeah, was this we got 4 rounds. We got a Sunday finish. I don't know how well. I mean, I'm sure we'll get some sort of report soon on viewership, and I'm not sure what it pulled in. I know it's tough right now with Liv and their perspective, because it feels like the way between Brooks and Patrick and just the way everything's kind of played out the last 3 months. I just feel like the PGA Tour's got all the momentum on their side. So
yeah, I
know it's tough for Liv to go out there and try to put on, a great theatrical performance, or, I know the Elvis Smiley got, debuts and gets a win, which is awesome. John Rahm, is up there in the top 2. Like you said, AK. I mean, I don't know what it does for the product this season and how it ends up panning out, and I didn't tune in, so maybe that speaks volumes. I don't know who did and who didn't. Or Hutch, I don't know if you got to.
I watched some. I mean, it's tough because the timing was a little bit awkward too. They're playing under the lights. It's also Super Bowl weekend. I know they finished a day earlier. They started a day early just to get it all in. It's a good event. It's hard to find. Like, during the middle of the broadcast, they switched from FS1 to FS2, and it's just, it's just hard to find. I think with a little more exposure, it could be great, because the idea of playing under the lights was awesome. Like, it was super cool. I know it presents a lot of challenges to the golfers. They may not like it all that much, shadows and whatnot. I saw at one point Peter Uihlein hit one in kind of some shrubbery, and he had his phone flashlight out. shining a light trying to find the ball. Like it, you know what I mean? Like it presents some issues, I'm sure, but it looked pretty cool. Some other notable finishes. You had Bryson DeChambeau had a T17 with Dustin Johnson right there. Big one will be Michael Lasasso, the big signing that High Flyers Phil Mickelson's team got. He shot 8 under, he finished T41. I mean, I guess for a pro debut, not terrible. I always like to look at who got dead last. That's Brendan Steele. He shot 4 over. All in all, I think it was a good little event. Liv, also in the news, and I don't know if you guys got to touch on it all last week. We've been talking for months about how they're going to get world rankings points. They did, but only the top 10 individuals in the stroke play events get rankings points, and they just get fractions of the points. I've seen pretty much the universal reaction I've seen is that this feels like a massive loss for Liv. Like, I don't think they're getting some points, but I don't think it's exactly what they expected to get.
I mean, it's not what they expected, but it's also, I mean, I know we all had different predictions. We did it a couple months ago as to when this actually pans out and when points would be awarded. It's kind of one of those situations, like you can't get it all at once, like especially in the situation that Liv's in terms of leverage, like kind of got to take what you can get. I understand where they're upset. I mean, obviously you're trying to, make your claim as a competitive tour that was worthy of points when, I mean, we've spoke about it before. Like the people didn't go to Live to boost their world golf ranking points. Like that just isn't necessarily the angle that was taken for what is growing Live as a competitive league that's going to be on the same plane level as what's earning points right now. So, I mean, I understand obviously as if you're on Live side, 100%, you're going to make a scene about this no matter what, because if it is going to progress and you do plan in the next year or two to earn full points, then you kind of have to make a scene about this so that way that more steps are taken, or you got to go maybe command more respect. And I don't know what that conversation looks like. I mean, maybe this is the plan all along, is you don't want an overreaction. The committee doesn't want, points to be awarded fully, and then there's an overreaction. Everyone loses their mind. And, maybe it's baby step at a time. Maybe in a couple months we learn that next season they're going to be awarded full points, or at least, full field points, however they want to work it out. So I'm sure there's a bigger plan in place.
Liv issued a pretty strong statement as a reaction to getting some world rankings points. I won't read the whole thing, but I will read one paragraph of it where they said, however, this outcome is unprecedented. Under these rules, a player finishing 11th in Live Golf event is treated the same as a player finishing 57th. Limiting points to the only top 10 finishers disproportionately harms players who consistently perform at a high level but finish just outside that threshold, as well as emerging talent working to establish themselves on the world stage. Precisely the players a fair and I can't even say that word, meritocratic ranking system is designed to recognize. No other competitive tour or league in official world golf ranking history has been subjected to such a restriction. And I mean, honestly, good point they've got there. They do think that this is the first step towards a structure to where they are fully and fairly served towards the players. I agree with you, Joey. I think this is just kind of the beginning. They had to get on the board, so to say. I think that we'll eventually get to where they get full rankings points, especially going to 72 holes. But Tim, what do you think about all of it?
I think they're just in a tough spot. And I don't know if we touched a little bit about this last week, if Bryson's using it as like negotiation leverage or if he wants to come back to the PGA Tour. But that guy, Bryson, he's the most popular polarizing figure in golf all over the world, with YouTube, the majors that he plays in, with playing on Live. He's everywhere and he's popular and people like him. And in my opinion, it's imperative that Liv keeps him. I think if they lose him, all the stuff that they've worked hard for to get like world golf ranking points and stuff and going to 72 holes is going to be tougher to overcome, because you can't lose your star power that you work so hard to get. And it's such a tough situation right now because there's so much unknown for them. But I do think the you got world ranking points, so I think that's a good start for them. You needed to get something. If you'd have got shut out completely, that would have been all bad. So just to get something positive step in the right direction.
We really need live golfers to sweep the majors this year. That would really help us.
That would.
That would really help.
Yeah, you make a good case for getting more guys in the majors. I mean, it'd be pretty good leverage
Tim,
from there.
I've been pretty on record saying that I think that obviously winning majors is going to help, and this is just kind of a progress, right? It's a process. This is part of the progress. I'm sorry, I got my tongue tied there. I think Liv is making a lot of good decisions in signing young talent. They have to sign a bunch of young hotshot players and hope that one of those guys turns out to be Jordan Spieth or Scotty Scheffler or Ricky Fowler or somebody who just kind of transcends into pop culture where the teenagers, the kids, they all love them. I think that's the biggest thing that Liv can do. And I've been pretty consistent about that, I think. So we'll see what happens. It's a good step.
You're right. I think you're right. I think that's a good thing because the one thing that Liv lacks right now is like a history. And granted, you can't just start a tour and have history. You have to make it, and you have to have longevity for that. And I believe right now is a great time for Liv because a lot of the younger generation isn't so much about history like us older folks like me. I'm not even going to joke about that, but we're about history.
I'm with you.
And tradition, and I think the generation gap, it'll be easier. I think Liv will have better success signing younger players, hoping they become superstars, and then in doing so, and they start playing incredible golf under the lights, you can start to get more of a history for each tournament that they play and build that up. And after 4 or 5 years, say, oh, now you've got a history to work with, and you've got more leverage than you did before. So that I believe that will help them also. Yeah. So I agree on the signing the young talents. Pretty good for them.
And Scott O'Neill did say he thinks it'll be 5 to 10 years before they're profitable in any way, which again, you can't just create history, right? Like it's got to be something that's built up from the ground up. They've got a good investment. I think it's a better strategy, as we're talking about, to sign younger players rather than throw $500 million at a big name guy. Although if that's what Bryson wants, that is what he should get. Let's go from Liv. What you got, Joey?
Well, Stan, Tim makes a good point. The whole point of Liv is they had, obviously, at their inception, they had to take a bunch of guys that made a name for themselves on the PGA Tour. And then to try to connect that to Liv, it feels like you're stripping them away of things. Like you're almost starting them over. It's like, okay, well, Phil Mickelson did this, this, and this. He did that as a member of the PGA Tour, right? So now it's what's Phil's history going to be on Liv Tour? Well, not much because Phil's not in his prime and not.
You get that cool backwards flop shot.
So right, but I mean, now Liv's got enough breathing room where it's like you have the ability to go invest in some of these young guys, and Hutch is right. Like you need someone to pop, almost big, pop culturally outside of the game, and that's why I've been a big fan and been advocating where the biggest part of why Liv needs to negotiate Bryson's contract outside of just his appearance of tournaments and a member of Liv is like they need to open this entire side of it to the media where it's they need to be getting involved with this YouTube golf stuff. They need to be getting the guys because there's a lot of younger guys that are blowing up on there. That's the kind of guy Liv needs to be popular right now to kind of swing any momentum their way, because that guy goes and places a bunch of top 5, top 10s, goes and is able to eventually, once these ranking points get figured out, muster up enough points to go and be in contention at these major tournaments and big events and stuff like that. Like that's the kind of snowball effect that will actually get people to watch your tour for an up and coming guy, not for, I don't want to say washed up people of the PGA Tour, but again, like Rahm's biggest moments came from the PGA Tour. I haven't seen as many of Rahm's big career moments on Liv because it's just naturally kind of subdued due to him being on Liv now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, particularly the TV deals, right? Like they just don't have as much exposure. The big thing, like you say, Joey, they got to be able to everything that people complain about the PGA Tour about, like not having media rights or not being able to film inside the ropes, all that stuff. They just need to embrace all that stuff and just pump it out and say, hey, look, this can be fun. This doesn't have to be all ritzy and suit and tie and all that stuff. This can be fun.
I think the trick too is the PGA Tour has like a structure where you play a bunch of tournaments to build up to a major, like a significant event. And then you play a couple more tournaments and you build up to your second significant event. And you got these 4 majors and they stick out above the rest of the 40, 45 tournaments. And they stick out so great that that's what draws fans to watch. And right now with Live, because it's so young, they play on courses that we're not familiar with as much. And so we're trying to figure out what are you trying to qualify for so that you could have a significant event where you can start making a history. And I would like to see what their plan is with that, to where they can draw the other side to say, hey, we have something similar and look at where we're playing and look at the field that we have and look at this trophy that you win. Because each of the 4 majors has a, pretty cool, they got to find a way to stand out a little more so that you could watch them more if you're not so much a fan. Like for me, I'm not so much a fan yet, but there's ways that they could get me to be a fan, a bigger fan, a more consistent fan. And maybe that's the traditionalist in me, and that's why I'm drawn to the PGA Tours, because they have that. But I want to see them stick out a little more on certain events so that they have guys that are playing on it, just not the same 56 or 60 guys playing the same field every week at a different course. When is it going to be that special tournament at that course that we all are drawn to? So I don't know how they get there.
Well, some of that they did embrace some of the PGA Tour stops that were kind of cast out due to political stuff. One of them being Doral. They did play a couple of events at Doral. Now the PGA Tour's back at Doral. Another one of those things I think you could build on, to your point, Tim, is kind of like playing under the lights in Riyadh. That's unique. That's different. That's kind of a standout event. Like that was, again, it was pretty cool. I got to watch some of it. That was really cool. All right, let's go. I know I mentioned Doral from Liv, who has a lot of haters, to somebody who doesn't have a lot of haters. Roger Maltby. It is announced today, boys, that Roger Maltby will be making a return to on-course reporting. He is signed, according to Golf Digest. This is a tweet from Nuclear Golf via Golf Digest. Says legendary on-course reporter Roger Maltby has signed a 1-year deal to be the lead on-course reporter for 5 PGA Tour events on Golf Channel, starting this week at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He is going to be he's going to be broadcasting from 5 events: the AT&T Pebble this week, Arnold Palmer, the Players, the Cadillac Championship at Doral, as we just talked about, and the Memorial Tournament, which will be the 50th anniversary of that tournament. He's also has a deal with NBC on the side where he'll be a part of the U.S. Open, U.S. Senior Open, Senior PGA, and the American Century Championship from Tahoe. Thoughts on Roger Maltby coming back?
You said playing for a second. I thought we were going to see
I did
Roger
say playing.
teeing it up at Muirfield. That'd be electric.
That would be cool, right?
Let him play from the senior tees. I mean, let him go last.
We watched Tiger shoot 85 at Muirfield one year, so
yes,
we could. I wonder if he could beat that.
Anything's possible.
What you think about Roger Maltby being back? Tim remembers Roger Maltby when he first started broadcasting.
Oh yeah, I was always a fan of Roger. He's been cool. He broadcasts in a way the players relate, so he doesn't ever really piss people off, and he has the ability to say it how it is. So if a player's playing bad, he's letting everybody know, and in a way that doesn't perturb players. And he's and I just love the way he goes about it. He brings some of his own experiences into it, but he doesn't make it all about himself. So he's really good mix, and I'm glad to see him back because I enjoyed him, especially when he was on NBC with Johnny Miller and Gary Koch and all those guys. So I'm happy for him because I know from reading a lot of articles from him, he missed it a lot. He loved doing it, like it was his passion. So for him to get another chance, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's there's been a lot of mix-ups, and I guess just on course and all around, just the broadcasting with different deals and media rights coming around and people getting shuffled and retiring and coming in. I know like Colt Knost, for example, had his third start or second for CBS, I guess, because this is the second CBS broadcast week. But yeah, I mean, I obviously, Tim, you're more there for Rodgers' peak, I would assume, but I mean, I think it's a perfect amount, like a way to dabble in it and throw some events that mean a lot to him and mean a lot to, the players and people involved without, putting a damn workload on the guy. That's perfect amount. Hey, pay me a significant amount of money to go do 5 tour events. And then I guess you mentioned some others, senior tour events and Ryder Cup and stuff like that. Like that's a dream retirement job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's doing it for the love of the game. Basically, his quote read, I'll read his quote. It's a shorter one. He said, "I'm excited that they still want me to do this. I guess they feel like I'm someone viewers want to listen to. The bottom line is that I want to keep going because I'm a fan of the game. I watch a good bit of it from home, and I look forward to getting up close and seeing how all the new guys and how they play." So he just enjoys doing it. And those are, honestly, you can't think of much bigger events to do it from, right? Like he's going to be at the US Open. Yeah. He's going to be at Memorial, at Arnold Palmer. Like these are big events. So, but he's starting this week at Pebble. Predictions, guys. What do we think is going to happen at Pebble this week? Who's going to win? Besides astronomically slow play.
I've got a hot favorite. I've got a feeling about a guy.
Rory McIlroy.
Is his first initial the same as his last one by chance?
Yeah, looks a lot like Chris Rodgers. Unfortunately, with Rory being in the field, we will have endless amount of quotes for next week's show, which I'm looking forward to.
Yes, we will.
I mean, it'll be quite the
when's Rory's presser?
Somebody needs to take his media pass away. I don't know if he has to physically have any sort of credentials just because he is behind the ropes, but someone just needs to go do a solid and stand in front of the media tent, and when he's finishing his round, like just get some lines. Just block
he
it
is the defending champion, though. So, what are we as far as winner? Who you guys picking?
Mine's pretty obvious.
Yeah, Tim, who are you picking? We're gonna skip Joey.
Oh man, I'm gonna repeat winner.
Oh, Rory. Okay.
Repeat winner. Because my pick is Scotty. I'm at that point. Like with Tiger, I'm picking Scotty every week. It doesn't even matter if he has to play left-handed.
Well, statistically, you're going to be right a good amount of the time. That's the unfortunate part. Is we're officially in the. It's hard to do in a golf tournament. Is who do you want to win versus who do you think will win? They're usually they coincide pretty well with each other. Now it's genuinely, okay, well, who do you think will win? It's 50-50 toss-up for Scotty pretty much. And then it's like, all right, now name anybody else that's not Scotty Scheffler that you think you'd like to win. Because they're probably not going
to. It's like
the question almost becomes, is Scotty going to win this week? Half the time? Yeah, probably. He'll be right there on Sunday. He'll be right there on Sunday unless he decides to cook or something and has to have hand surgery or whatever happens.
I don't want to see him near any glass anywhere. He makes too much money to be cooking for himself.
It's like with fantasy pools now, do we just eliminate Scotty because everyone's gonna pick him? So pick some different guys. He's just that good.
He is, and it's crazy because I don't know if it was you, Joey, who posted the tweet or if it was some other account that I saw, but basically it said essentially like if what we saw from last week with Scotty was his B or C game, then the world's in trouble. It feels like that to me.
When you watch round one, that felt like at the current moment, the worst golf Scott Scheffler can play. Like visibly upset. It happened to have a lot of effect on his game. I mean, some of his shots, I mean, not only was his reaction after poor, but you can just tell like his stroke didn't look the same. I mean, his swing looked off. It felt like he was questioning himself, didn't feel, I don't know whether it was around the green seemed to struggle too. Like he just didn't seem to have the touch. And for him to then back that up and essentially blow it away and then just ignore it is kind of scary. Cause I mean, you're right. If that's his B or C game, I don't know what kind of floor. I mean, this is the floor essentially.
Yeah.
Because we've just not seen him dip below the standard in so long. So it's kind of scary to think about what the ceiling is because the margin's just endless. I mean, you can take it as high as you want, really, as long as he stays healthy, which obviously is always a matter for any golfer.
It's the reason why you guys asked me earlier. I got to see a lot of Tiger in his prime from 97 to 2007. I watched every tournament. Scotty has the same ability to do what Tiger did, where you shoot 1 or 2 over in the first round and you think that that's absolutely the worst golf I've ever seen Tiger play. And we're at that same point where Scotty shoots 1 or 2 over in the first round and we're like, that's the worst golf he can play is 1 or 2 over. And 95% of the other guys on tour's worst round is 5 or 6 or 7 over. Scotty's beating them by 5 or 6 shots when it comes to worst rounds that they can possibly play. And that's where Tiger once was. Tiger had the ability to overnight make adjustments and go right back to a 65, and Scotty's right there. And that's scary for the rest of the guys on tour because Scotty is good friends with Tiger and is learning a lot now that Tiger's older and passing his wisdom on. Scotty could be in for an unbelievable 5-year run, in my opinion, like a Tiger-esque kind of run.
We're at the beginning of it, and he's pretty much on it right now. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see, and it's good for, I mean, Joey, I'm sure, is enjoying every single moment of it.
Yeah, and direct correlation of success. So,
yep.
That is it's gonna be about it for us, guys. Before we go, thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Lame.
Boring.
Lame.
Just the scoring was just, I mean, like the last 12 minutes was if you could have played that out for 3 other quarters, but the Patriots, and I'm sure Brent's struggling today. I mean, Patriots finally faced a good team and couldn't show up. So
the O-line got destroyed by that.
Yeah, that was tough.
I mean, it was tough to watch every series knowing May was going to be running for his life for the most part.
You almost couldn't even blame the guy. I mean, the defense, the Seahawks made the Patriots O-line look like the worst O-line performance probably in Super Bowl history. And honestly, I don't know how much of that was in part to the O-line. I mean, granted, there were some absolute atrocities by both tackles, and just the edge rushers were getting past there like a saloon door pretty much. But, the other 60% was essentially just the Seahawks, front seven being that gross and putting – So, I mean, like, it sucks to say, it's like not the most entertaining Super Bowl, but you want to talk about, I mean, defensive performances, the Seahawks for the first 3 quarters. And, I mean, honestly, the whole game was up there. I don't even remember who was on the call, but said it was probably one of the better defensive performances they've seen in the Super Bowls they've covered. So, they can't all be exciting. It's hard for, like, the people's game and the one that a lot of people that don't usually watch football, the one that they tune in for. You really want, like, fireworks and high-scoring games, but honestly, it's football.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a Super Bowl. And we're 7 short months away from the Atlanta Falcons taking over the league. Rise up.
This is your year. I feel good about it.
That's going to be the last thing for the show today. The Atlanta Falcons are going to take over next year. Seriously, though, guys, thanks for tuning in. We're same place every Monday night, 8:30. It's just when we come on. Afterwards, you can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify. We will be up on YouTube at some point. I don't have the host spiel down like John does. I'm just a backup. As you can tell, this is not my main gig. I usually like to just give opinions, but I had to try to drive tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Joey, Tim, it's been a pleasure. We will see you guys next week.